Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at NECA's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles FUGITOID. This is part of their new comic-based series, which looks like it's going to end up being pretty darn cool. This is a very unique figure in its articulation and its paint job in just about every way, so I'm pretty excited to show it to you guys. I had the original figure back as a kid. I believe it was gold or coppery colored. This one is a lot closer to what the comic looked like, and it's a pretty darn cool figure. So let's go ahead and get it off the stand and take a closer look. This guy stands just shy of 15 centimeters, which makes him pretty close to, let's say, 5 3/4 inches. And it's a very, very skinny figure, very spindly. Appropriately so, though. If you want to see a quick comparison, here he is up against a Marvel Legends counterpart. He's a little bit shorter, but not too much. Alright, quick question of the day. Did you guys read the Ninja Turtles comics back in the day? Like the ones this guy's from, when the Turtles had the more triangular shaped body? I have never read any of the comics. I'm familiar with the characters, but I did not read the comics. Okay, so let's talk about the aesthetic on this guy. The sculpt is great. It's basic and appropriate. He's got the tubery arms and legs, and then the very basic shaped body, and it's all very smooth and nicely done, no problems there. As far as the paint job goes, we have this chrome effect. I do think they maybe skewed a little bit too much blue. That's generally how you do chrome. In the comics, he had more of a steel color without the blue part, but that's really just splitting hairs. I'm not really worried about that. But it does have a really nice effect in that it does have like that kind of color panel chrome paint job that you see with the blacks and the brownish gray and the white. But then we do also get some blue, like airbrush work, some shading in the grays to really, really sell that whole effect. You can see it down in the legs. You can see it in the hands. You can see it in the back, the head. Everything is just really nicely done. And we do have this nice thick black line work throughout to really help. And then the last thing I want to mention is the face. The mouth is nice and clean. The eyes are nicely done. However, mine is slightly googly-eyed. This eye is not quite where it should be. I'd say this one's probably over this way too far, and this one is down and out. Just barely, and probably not noticeable enough from any angle, so it's not a huge deal, but it is worth mentioning. But yeah, everything's really nice and clean, and this guy looks really cool. So I'm gonna go 9.5 out of 10. If the eyes were straight on, this guy would get a 10 out of 10 for aesthetic. It's really nicely done, very well put together. The paint job is immaculate. The whites are nice and opaque. Everything's nice and opaque. Very, very well done. I love it. Now, as far as accessories go, we get the two hands that come on in the package. They're kind of neutral. Then we get some kind of wide open hands and some kind of gripping hands, and that's all fine. We get the little handcuff thingy you can tuck his hands into. That's pretty cool. We get his two blue pistols. We get the big blue rifle. Those are all nicely painted. We get his punchy thing. I think it's a punchy thing. Maybe it's a shooty thing. I don't really remember. But his hand does go in that, and that's very nicely done. Extra paint on that. Very cool. And then lastly, we get another gray gun, or another gun which is gray. Also very nicely detailed. That's a good spread of accessories. I'm happy. Can't think of anything else we would really need. I'll go 9 out of 10 for that. Okay, now the articulation. This figure is kind of unique. We'll just go through it like normal, though. The head is on a ball peg on top of the neck, and then the neck itself is on a ball peg, so you can move the whole thing around, or you can move the head around on top of it. Mine is stuck. Let's unstick it. There we go. So yeah, it rotates around and moves around very nicely. Really, anything you're going to want to do, you can do. The shoulders are just a swivel. This dome piece can just rotate all the way around, so that's pretty cool. And then the arms are bendy. Now, unfortunately on mine, the wire is coming through the front. It did not go where it was supposed to go, so I'm very leery of messing with this other than bending it all the way up at the top of the arm. But I will show you on this side what kind of range we get and hope that it works out well. It is pretty stiff, but it should hold a 90. Let's see. Looks like it's doing a little bit of memory, but it seems to be holding a 90. I wouldn't count on too much more than that. Maybe if you use a hairdryer and bend it, you might get lucky and it'll hold, but that is going to be about your limit. There is no lateral movement in the arm other than using bendies and rotation. So there's some limitation there. I don't think it's going to be a problem, but you can rotate the arm at the bicep, so to speak, so that should be fine. Then the hands rotate inside the sockets, so that should be fine. Torso is just a ball peg in here, It does lean forward and back pretty well, about as much as most domestic figures do these days, which is surprising. Side to side, just a touch, and then just a touch of rotation. Very, very little range. Down here in the lower torso, nothing. I don't know, this feels like PVC to me. I doubt it can bend. Like, it would take a hell of a wire in there, so I'm going to count that as a fixed piece. It seems like it is. For the hips, they are the same situation as the shoulder, so they do go forward and back on that swivel. Then you have the bendy legs, and I'm willing to bet they're the same piece as the top and will hold about 90 degrees comfortably. You can rotate the boots, although mine were stuck. Mine were stuck at the hip and at the top of the boot, but I was able to just twist these and get them to rotate. So do so carefully, hold it right here and give them a little twist, and you might be able to free that up if yours is stuck. And that's it for the articulation. It's not like he's got the most in the world, but in a sense he does because he is bendy. And that Gumby action means technically infinite amount of range. Or at least there's an infinite number of positions you can put it at in that small amount of range that you do get that 90 degrees. I'm perfectly satisfied with this. I think it's a really cool figure, and of course, NECA is aiming for the aesthetic and the articulation's not as necessary. I'll give it a 7 though. I think the bendies and the swivels and things are perfectly appropriate. And I like it. And so let's go ahead and just do the final verdict. I'm guessing you guys are knowing where I'm going with this. They leaned heavily into the... Oh, I thought I broke something. It felt like it broke or something, but I think the shoulder wiggled as I was bending this, and I thought the wire broke. Anyway, they were leaning definitely into the aesthetic, and they gave us plenty of range at that, so I'm very happy with this. The aesthetic is almost perfect. The articulation's good enough, and the accessories are great. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10, in fact. I'm guessing most of you won't end up with a wire poking through on the forearm. Again, that's definitely unfortunate, but it's not that big of a deal either. I'm not that worried about it. That kind of thing happens. QC issues are a factor in every line, and if that's all I have to worry about, slightly googly eyes, I'll take it, but I'm very happy. I'll go 9.5 out of 10. The paint job on this thing is immaculate. I love it. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up and a share. Use that share button. Don't just copy and paste the link. The share button on YouTube lets them know that you like my videos, so please do that. If you didn't like the video, you can give it a thumbs down and not share it. That's fine too. Or hey, you could hate share it. Share it to everybody and be like, this guy sucks. Look how terrible his video is, and just share it all the way around. That would be... Oh man, that'd be horrible. Please, please do that. Okay, so also you might want to subscribe. I have new videos almost every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all that good stuff. In the meantime, keep collecting.